Lesson 4, how to write creatively in a comedic way for a short scene. This lesson will focus on the following points: how to plan a short scene, how to write a short comedic scene, and then how to incorporate direct and indirect characterization in your scene. So the questions that I posed on the bundle are as follows. What would I like to achieve with my comedic scene? What will the plot look like? What is the basis of my humor? What is funny about my scene? And what does the audience need to know about my characters? So what I like to do is write the questions out on a Word document so I don't forget any of those thoughts. I'm going to switch my font to Comic Sans. Haha, funny. I've decided that for my scene, what I would like to achieve is to demonstrate a situational comedy of an experience that happened to me while teaching driver's ed. What will it look like? It will, so this is my planning. It will look like a short scene. If it were being acted out, I would say probably no longer than 5 minutes. That takes place inside a car and outside on the side of a road. Alright, what is the basis of my humor, or what is funny about this scene? I would say the funniest part about this scene is going to be the reaction of the, let's see, 15-year-old female driver and the reaction of the 15-year-old male passenger who was actually riding along in the back seat. Okay. What is funny about my scene? I think that sums it up. And then what does the audience need to know about my characters? They need to know my characters are inexperienced drivers and that is a bad word to use. See, it's okay to have lots of think time during your planning. Maybe I'll come back to that. We'll leave it at that for now. Alright, so once I have my basic thoughts down, I have to decide what I want the format of my piece to look like. Typically, because I have dialogue, I'm going to have to write out the names of the people. I don't want to use their real names in this situation, just because I haven't asked them for permission. So even though this is technically a nonfiction, I'm just going to make up some names. And I could ask them at a later date and switch it. So I'm going to start off, and whenever you start a comedic scene, you want to start off with what the scene looks like. So I'm going to make my little dividers here, because I always do that. Okay. The scene opens. Picture like a TV show or a movie when you do this. Think about like music, lighting, any kind of a mood that you want to set or create. The scene opens with cheerful, maybe slightly energetic music as a it was like a 2010, no, 2009 Chevy Malibu. Drives exactly, I don't know what this would look like, but 55 miles per hour down a country road that has a couple of hills. The road is nestled in a forest, and there are, let's try with that, the sky is clear with a few clouds, and the leaves are just starting to turn I don't know. I remember this is a rough draft. I'd go back and tune this up a little bit, or a lot of it. The sky is clear with a few clouds, and leaves are just starting to turn a burnt orange color. As the car turns a corner, the view camera angle switches to a close-up of the driver's education instructor. And here's where my dialogue starts. Female. Oh my goodness. Female instructor says, turn right ahead. Don't forget your blind spot. That will be worth 1 point minimum on your road test. Okay, so now what I want to do is go through the entire situation. And show like little like nonverbals along the way. So here's an example of a nonverbal. Maybe I bracket it and go, got it. Driver takes a, let's just say she takes a deep breath. Anticipation of the curve. Ahead. Or maybe I add something like, she is a little fatigued because her hour of driving is nearly up, and she has made it so far without any major strophes. This, again, rough draft. This is a big deal for her because she is typically a very, oh my goodness, very nervous person. Okay, so that gives you the background, and I have that within my dialogue, so I would keep going from there. Now, that's something that I want my audience to know about the female driver. That is something that you could classify as characterization, even though it's not being said by the person, but acted out by the person. So there's my indirect characterization. So let's add a little bit more of characterization from the female instructor. And instructor knows about this already. She gives her positive reinforcement. You are doing an excellent job today. This lesson is much, much better than last week's lesson. Female driver says, yes. We didn't have any curves or have any near, let's do near off-road winces, winces, and gives a nervous giggle. Introduce other character, male driver in the back seat says, oops, let's say he gives a huff. Huff, and then with a hint of sarcasm. And then this part is just telling the actor how to say it, so I would just highlight or italicize that. Okay, so I have some characterization here within this little just brief set of dialogue. I have right here the notion that this is not a very good driver. This would be your indirect characterization. This right here where the female driver is indicating that she did not do something very good last week, that would be your example of direct characterization. We could go on and on and on, and I could finish this, but basically the gist of my scene is going to be that up over the next hill, and this actually did happen. The girl does have something quite catastrophous. There's my blended word issue. She is going to hit a goose. So I would go through that process. There was a flock on the other side of the road, and when you go up over a hill and you can't see it, the birds flew up. She hit one, and then um, you'll have to read the rest of it later when I put it to the end of the bundle to see what happens. So that's kind of where I'm at. So you saw me plan my short scene, and if I wanted to go back, I know the scene by heart, so I don't need to draw out my entire plot line, but I could if I wanted to. If this were a scene that I'm using someone else's characters, if I'm, writing the next scene from the movie Up, or if I'm writing the next Friends episode, then I think I would actually have planned out my plot chart like my roller coaster with the exposition, rising action, climax, falling action, and resolution. I'm writing it just in the point of view of third person. I'm also going through the scene in chronological order, but you don't have to do that. As you noticed in the Modern Family episode, how they start off in the hospital and then they go to the different houses and then they are always back at the hospital until the very end. So you have some author's choices to make there too. And then you also saw how I incorporated direct and indirect characterization into my scene. I've also put in some sarcasm by the male driver, which you would see more of reading the entire scene. And then also this story's main humorous part would be irony, because it's not going to be what is expected. So we have some situational irony there. So that is the long and short of it. And if you have any questions, let me know. But that is how it looks when I start to write a short comedic scene, and I look forward to reading yours.